Chapter 254. Nathan, is that the sign left by the Duke this time? Upon hearing the Palatinide's question, Nathan Zuckerman lifted his eyes, silently nodding as he folded the piece of paper he held in his hand. Yes. And there are no peculiarities again? He advises us to follow at a slower pace. A slower pace? A knight with a grim scar on his face scratched his cheek, lost in thought. Is he intending to delay our rendezvous? I hope there hasn't been an incident. Instead of answering his question, Nathan placed the folded note in his mouth and swallowed it. Ah, of course, if that were the case, you wouldn't be this calm. Haha, I worry too much. Even though Nathan did not laugh in return, making his demeanor feel rather bleak, the knight, accustomed to his ways, did not take it to the heart. What is the condition of those in the wagon? After disposing of the note completely, Nathan asked, and the knight turned his head to glance at the shabby wagon parked behind them. Although it seemed quiet, as if no one was aboard, inside were two attendants of Princess Jane. Same as ever, neither fighting nor conversing, utterly silent. It's as if they have given up completely. Even so, we must remain vigilant. They could change their demeanor and attempt to escape at any moment, especially as we are about to enter the Great Serene Forest. I know, but they surely can't be stronger than you, Nathan. The knight, aware of Nathan Zuckerman's being a hidden sword master, chuckled and patted his shoulder. But Nathan, are you not worried at all about entrusting the Duke to those of the cavalry alone? Nathan, pushing off the hand on his shoulder, silently furrowed his brow and looked at the knight. Noticing the cold demeanor in Nathan's gaze, the knight quickly lowered his head, as if he said he did not doubt his intentions. No, it's not that I doubt the Duke's judgment. If the Duke has decided so, then it's undoubtedly the right decision. I merely worry whether those unknown individuals will truly be able to serve him well. Sir? A single word from the knight suddenly sprang up in Nathan's mind. Although now a significant power within the Palatine Knights and a free man, there were a time when he was more accustomed to a life serving at the lower ranks, cleaning someone's shoes. Therefore, he understood better than most what a multitude of meanings could be included in the word serve. Kishir was a complex individual who, due to his unique circumstances and secrets, put a complex and thick wall around himself, independent of trusting those around him. There were only a few, including Nathan, to whom he showed even a glimpse of his true feelings. To him, both the Palatine Knights and the cavalry members were all just fingers of similar weight. He wouldn't differentiate between who more familiar or comfortable. Except for one. In Nathan Zuckerman's mind, the image of the man with dark hair and a pale face surfaced. A peculiar man, quiet and cold like an unlit dawn, yet at times his gaze withering like that of a veteran who would cross the threshold of life and death countless times. It was Udir Ale. Kishir's attitude towards Udir Ale was somewhat special. So special that, at times, even Nathan found it difficult to grasp his lord's thoughts. At least, Nathan had never seen him show such long and persistent attention toward anyone before. Nathan could not understand what kind of emotion his lord was feeling towards him, but he was certain of one thing from his observation so far. There was an odd resemblance between the two. It was hard to explain what exactly was similar. Although they were completely different in appearances, personality, status, life trajectories, and even age, Nathan felt there was a fundamental commonality between them. Who would understand this, though? Even Nathan sometimes found it difficult to understand why he felt this way. However, the weight of his intuition occasionally thumped against his chest so heavily that he could not dismiss it as a mere illusion. Yes, for instance, What if there was a being who could give the same answer as him, even when they were scattered on different paths? A being that could reach the same conclusion, despite having different beginnings and processes. The powerful sense of homogeneity only those who have walked the same path for a long time could feel, or perhaps something even stronger. The resemblance Nathan felt for them was close to that. Nathan guessed that Kishir's deep interest in Udir and the reason he enjoyed his company so genuinely was perhaps because he had realized this. In that sense, wasn't Udir the most fitting being to serve their lord? Other Peletonites might not understand what this meant, but to Nathan, who had served Kishir since childhood, the meaning was very different. It's not our concern. As long as one person is there, it's enough. One person? Who is that? The knight asked curiously, but Nathan turned his head without answering. What? You can't tell? Who is it, really? The backup team in charge of cleaning up the safe house is coming. The atmosphere doesn't look normal. Get ready. Huh? When the knight turned his head in surprise, something that looked like a dust cloud from a distance too far for the naked eye to see well caught his eye. Shortly after, their companions, who had run up in the flash, gasping for breath, jumped in front of Nathan. Nathan, there were intruders in the safe house. Intruders? Yeah, they weren't ordinary skilled ones. There were 5 of them. 2 fought us as soon as they entered, and the other 3 searched the interior without hesitation, dug up the body of the servant buried in the backyard, and just left. What are you talking about? They dug up the body and left? When the knight with the scar on his side asked in surprise, the exhausted knight thought, "That's what I said," and then replied briefly. Looks like they had attached a tracking tool to the dead guy. They seemed to have just recovered that and disappeared. I couldn't confirm what it was, where they went. They disappeared too quickly. I'm sorry. Upon hearing the knight's report, Nathan's eyes narrowed sharply. Tool? Weren't all the belongings on the body checked when it was buried? I have confirmed it. There was nothing suspicious, not even a trace of magic artifacts. The knight with the scarred face frowned, shaking his head. Lost in thought for a moment, Nathan quickly came to a conclusion. Then they must have used another method. We will have to check. To whom? If the target is the Prince of Nalan, we will have to ask those who have come here from there. So, what's the situation with our injured? The newly arrived knights looked at each other's faces and cautiously reported to Nathan, who was immediately checking the next situation. Betty and Jean were slightly injured by a sword. The others are still fine. I see. Those who are injured should get treatment right away. Understood. Nathan immediately led the remaining knights towards the carriage. As he swiftly swung the door open, the 2 servants, their eyes wide with alarm, met his gaze. New assassins who followed the trail of your deceased colleague were found in the safe house they had left. It seems like they used a tool we can't predict for tracking, then took it back. You might know better about such methods. Any ideas? What? What are you talking about? Assassins followed the dead Fatty? They might have been carrying a tool with a special scent that only trained individuals can detect. While the servant named Jen was shocked and questioning, Melbourne quickly responded with a pale face. The mother of the 3rd prince, the greatest enemy of the prince, is from the land of Ariel. I have heard that assassins from there possess such technology. A tool with a special scent? Could it be trace even a buried body? They say it takes several days for the scent, once buried, to disappear, so it might be possible. If they left the safe house directly, it can be assumed that they left the track the 2nd prince. Is there a chance that such a tool could be attached to the 2nd prince? There is. After a moment's grimace of thought, Melbourne swallowed hard and widened his eyes. There is one thing. A gift that Fatty gave to Prince a few days ago. What is it? A hairband. The prince has a hairband that he always carries with him, a relic from the deceased second queen. He lost it while packing in haste to leave the empire. A few days later, Fatty returned it, claiming it was mixed in his luggage. This happened just recently. I remember that too, Jan murmured, but Fatty, he wouldn't go that far. Well, you went that far, so it's not impossible for Fatty. What? What did you say, Melbourne? You're also quiet. The two servants shivered and closed their mouths at the sharp aura exuded by the swordmaster, Nathan Zuckerman. Nathan closed the carriage door, turned around, and briefly summarized the situation to the Peletonites. The situation has become serious, so we will abandon the previous instructions and move immediately along the fastest route. I will send a messenger right now. The rest of you, prepare.